the Death Star, pop-up dungeon, character creation, Star Wars, Darth Vader, digital tabletop games. What do all of these have in common? Well, I'm going to show you. But before we begin, maybe consider subscribing if you're new here. That way we can keep getting these videos out to you. Now, have you ever wanted to play as the Death Star, going around blowing things up? I've made that possible through the pop-up dungeon character creator. This voiced Death Star, along with a fleet of Star Destroyers and its very own Death Star shield, can go around as a mid to long range artillery unit, building up power and stats until it has enough energy to absolutely obliterate any opponent on the field. How do we do this? Well, let's take a look. The first ability in the Death Star's arsenal is Bring Us in Range. With the Death Star, you want to make sure that you always stay at the optimal range to attack, but not to be attacked. Bring Us in Range will increase your mobility, grant you levitate, give you aim, and help you generate AP that you will desperately need to use the high-powered weapons of the Death Star. By using Bring Us in Range, you should be able to keep the perfect distance from your enemies in order to destroy them. Next up in our pop-up dungeon character creation of the Death Star, we have Turbo Laser. Turbo Laser is a decent damage dealer, but it will reduce your opponent's mobility, meaning that they must spend additional action points in order to move. It will increase your haste, which may mean that you could possibly get 2 Death Star blasts if you're lucky, and it will reduce their light defense, not only making them weaker against this attack, but when it's time to show them that the station is fully operational, well, they'll be absolutely blown away. Speaking of fully operational, the most expensive and powerful of your abilities will cause a blast from the Death Star anywhere 8 spaces away. You must fire in a straight line, but you can ignore line of sight. It's on a cooldown of 2 and will blast for massive initial damage. If that's not enough though, the following turn they'll burn for the next 5 turns for an even larger amount of magical damage. Now be careful when you use this. Not only will you stun yourself when you fire the cannons, but should your opponent survive, the Rebel Alliance will surely rally them and grant them a phenomenal amount of support. So this must be your execution ability, which is why all the other abilities merge together to make this shot nearly unstoppable. Now, of course, you're going to want to upgrade your Star Destroyer, and with pop-up dungeon character creation, we've made many items specifically just for the Death Star. The first is your primary weapon, the Imperial Fleet. This is going to grant you a large amount of light power. However, once you get the uncommon upgrade to this, it's going to give you Fleet Patrol. Fleet Patrol is a source of shielding, AP, and light power, but you must allow yourself to deploy it for at least 1 turn before it activates. It's going to happen at the start of your turn, and then 1 turn later, you'll gain all of those bonuses and continue to gain all of those bonuses over 2 turn duration, and you'll send them out at the start of your turn receiving no bonuses, but when they come back the following turn, you'll be granted additional absorb, action points, and light power for 2 turns stacking. Now because this activates at the start of every turn, this will become not only free, but an action point positive ability that will continue to boost both your offense and your defense. We followed that up with the Death Star Shield. This grants a large amount of defense to your character, but it will also grant an ability at the rare state. This is Activate Shield, and while you will lose a large amount of reflex, you will heal for an incredible amount of HP. You'll absorb immediately, and then again 1 turn later stacking. Now keep in mind this is very expensive, so you may not be doing much else other than activating your shield. Once done though, you will be set for the next several turns. Next up we have the Death Star Plating. This just adds a large amount of health. However, once you get this to the rare stat, you'll get the incredible ability Prepare to Fire. Much like the other abilities, it won't do anything when you initiate it. However, 1 turn later, you'll be granted light power for 3 turns. 2 turns later, you'll be granted pure power for 2 turns. and 3 turns later, you'll be granted enough aim to overcome any cover. This will ensure that if you are timing things right, you will have an incredible amount of damage coming at your opponents from both of your primary attacks. We follow that up with our propulsion system, the Ion Drive. This has no secret ability, but does increase both speed and energy power. This means that you will be both producing more action points and dealing more damage as you get upgrades with this. And the final and most important piece to the equipment, the Emperor himself. He simply speeds things up. I hear he's less forgiving than others. Well, not only that, but he will grant you a second prepare to fire. This means that while they have a cooldown of 3, and that is our Death Star, an incredibly powerful long-range artillery that does best when other foes tank. However, if necessary, you can move out of the way very quickly through use of levitate, mobility, and shield. This is not an easy unit to take down, because it will always be moving around. Your opponents may be able to succeed, however, if they can corner and hold it down, as well as attack the secret spot in the back. Yes, I've added that weakness. I know that I'm going to have a lot of fun playing as the Death Star, but if you enjoy this, let me know. Encourage me to create more things just like this. Put down your suggestions down below of what I should make next. And if enough people like, share, and subscribe, well, I'll know that this is the type of content that you want me to keep making, and I'll be happy to do so. I am Nidanoski, aboard the Death Star with the Emperor and Darth Vader. It is absolutely terrifying, but, as always, have fun.